Hi, I'm Elly. Today I'm going to read you a story called Mr. Crum's Potato Predicament. Are you ready to listen? Okay, I'm going to read you the story. Mr. Crum's Potato Predicament. Mr. Crum's Potato Predicament. George Crum loved to cook. He fricassed and flambéed, boiled and braised, poached and pureed. He made sorbets and soufflés, stews and staccato potatoes, regatas out of glasses. George loved cooking so much his house ballooned with food, so he opened a restaurant called Crum's Place and hired a waitress with cheeks round as plums named Gladys. George cooked to his heart's content, and his customer devoured his conscience. May considered him to be the best cook in the country. That is, until one day they walked in a peculiar-looking parson. He wore a purple dolka-dotted cravat and a sunflower on his label. Filbert P. Horsefeather is my name, he trumpeted. The P stands for punctilious, and I have a hankering for a heaping helping of potatoes. Just potatoes? Said Gladys. Just potatoes, said Filbert. So, with a swish of his apron and a tap of chef's hat, George got to work. He cut the potatoes into wedges, boiled them, fried them in a dollop of lard, and sprinkled them with salt. Then Gladys set the potato down in front of Filbert Punctilious Horsefeathers. Filbert spread a wedge with his fork and peered at it from all sides. Too thick, he said, pursing his lips and pushing his plate away. Well, huckleberry biscuits, said Gladys. The customer at table 5 is sending the plate back. Picky, 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 muttered George, who had never before a customer refused his cook. So, with a little swish of his apron and a tap to his chef's hat, George prepared a plateful of thinner wedges, and Gladys set them down in front of Filbert Punctilious Horsefeathers. Filbert spread a wedge with his fork, peered at it, and took a teeny tiny nibble. Still too thick and bland as burlap, he said, rolling his eyes and pushed his plate away. Well, flying flapjacks, said Gladys. The customer at table 5 is sending the plate back again. Fussy, 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 muttered George, who proceeded to work a plateful of even thinner wedges, this time with an extra splash of salt. When Gladys set the tables down in front and Filbert Punctilious Horsefeathers, Filbert speared a wedge up with his fork, peered it, nibbled it, and then took a bean-sized bite. Still too thick, still bland and undercooked, he said, puffing out his cheeks and pushing the plate away. Gladys let out a tut, a tusk, tisk, tisk, and a snort that picked up the plate and returned to George's kitchen a third time. This cannot be, said George. Everyone loves my spots. They're scrumptious, they're solent, they're so sublime. Not according to this finky, pernicky Filbert Punctilious Horsefeathers, said Gladys. Now, George is known to his customers to be a bit prankster, and his daily menu was evidence of his lively sense of humor. To draw a laugh or two, wait a minute. Okay. To draw a laugh lot or two, George often listed menu items that were, shall we somewhat unusual. Today's specials: stewed skunk in saffron sauce, pickled possum pancakes, grilled groundhog, and curried. So, in the spirit of playfulness, George took one potato and carefully balanced into his chopping block. With his thinnest, sharpest knife, he slowly shaved it into the thinnest, slimiest, and trimmest of slices. He heated a handful of lard in his pan and fried the slices until they were so crispy they crackled, and then he showered them with salt. Let's see how Mr. Horsefeathers fancies these spuds, said George with a wink. With a wisp of a smile, Gladys set the plate down in front of Filbert Punctilious Horsefeathers. Filbert turned the plate this way, then that way. He tried sparing one on potato slices, but it splintered. So Filbert put down his fork, and with his finger he stacked the slices until it teetered. Then he cracked one and snapped one. Only after that did Filbert Punctilious Horsefeathers pop one into his mouth. Perfection, he proclaimed, and before you say, prickly porcupine pie. Filbert had munched, crunched, and gobbled up every last morsel. I guess the joke is on you, said Gladys, when she returned to the empty plate to George. Fire up the frying pan one more time. I want to try those for myself. So with a swift swish of his apron and tap to his chef's hat, George did exactly that. Why, my taste buds are tap dancing, exclaimed Gladys after sampling George's new creation. Delectable and delicious, declared George after he too ate a few. I'll call this Crumb's Crispies and put a plateful on every table. Word spread, and before long people from all over the country and far, far beyond were clamoring for George's new concoction, which came to be known as potato chips. And this is the end of the story. Okay, I love today because tomorrow is my favorite day. Can you guess what day is tomorrow? It's Friday. I love Friday the most. Okay, and thank you for listening to my story. Bye!